In this world, there's one man who refuses to follow the script.
We have rules here, you know that. And if you don't follow the rules, then what are we?
One man stands tall in the face of adversity.
But it ain't about how hard you hit. It's about how hard you can get hit and keep moving forward.
A man who rises above the ashes of hot takes.
What do you care what they say?
Easy for you to say they all love you.
It's just noise, man. You're really good at it. You might be great.
That man is Nick Kostos. And this is You Better You Bet.
If loving sports is wrong, I don't want to be right.
Where narratives are challenged and the truth is spoken.
I told you what was going to happen last week. If you didn't listen, that's on you.
This isn't talk, it's perspective.
It's not what you look at that matters. It's what you see.
This is You Better You Bet, presented by BetMGM on Westwood One Sports.
What's up, everybody? Happy and merry. Terrific Sports Tuesday to you and yours. This is You Better You Bet with Nick Kostos on Westwood One Sports, as we bring you the fastest show in all of sports. The show presented today and always by BetMGM. Make it legendary by downloading the BetMGM app and visiting BetMGM.com. And on this Tuesday morning, the world of sports on fire. And we will get to all the big stories, including why I am convinced that Patrick Mahomes will be ready to start the season at quarterback for the Kansas City Chiefs. Oh yeah, we've got an announcement. Week 1 Monday Night Football, Chiefs-Broncos. Do you think the NFL will put that game in primetime if Justin Fields were going to start at quarterback? We will talk NFL, some of these schedule leaks coming up a little later in the show. I cannot wait to get into it. We will also get into why I'm so sick and tired of this Giannis Antetokounmpo situation in Milwaukee. Just trade him. Get divorced. You don't need to stay together for the kids in this instance. The marriage is broken. It's worse than, well, you know, the two people in the news whose marriages are in the news every single day. It's worse than them. Just trade him. Enough. We'll talk about it in a little bit. And I'll also tell you why Cavs Pistons, now a best of 3 with Detroit having 2 home games. It's not really Cavs versus Pistons. It's Donovan Mitchell versus Cade Cunningham. Our bets for tonight will close the show after your boy. That's me, Nick Kostos. Good morning. Undefeated last night. Oh, yeah. A little Cavs Thunder moneyline parlay action. A little Colorado Avalanche. Here's Mackenzie Blackwood. Yeah. Nathan McKinnon, puck off the dome. No worries. Scores an empty netter at the end of the game. Avalanche beat the Wild. I told you the Yankees were going to lose last night. The Baltimore Orioles take down my New York Yankees. At least I profit. My team loses. We will attempt to do just as well tonight with all the bets in the world of sports. The phone number, 310-840-4910, youtube.com/@thekostos. Great guests will join us along the way. Justine Termine, NBA Radio. Gary Williams from the Golf Channel on the PGA Championship in Philly this week as the Philly sports fan looks to redeem him or herself after what happened this weekend with the Sixers and the Knicks. And Carolina Panthers GM Dan Morgan in the final hour of the show today. But we officially begin. Terrific Sports Tuesday edition of You Better You Bet with a thunderstruck king. Because last night, the Oklahoma City Thunder, as the Western Conference playoffs is the Oklahoma City Thunder Invitational. We told you what was going to happen before the playoffs even started. After the final day of the regular season, that Sunday to close the regular season, when we knew the bracket in the Western Conference, I came on the air the next day and told you exactly how this was going to go. And, I'm not trying to pat myself on the back or gas myself up and make it like this was the greatest prediction of all time. It wasn't. if you pay any attention to basketball and you're honest with yourself, you knew how this was going to go. Like the Thunder are going to sweep the Suns. Like they're either going to sweep or win in 5 against either the Lakers or the Rockets, and they are basically coasting to the Western Conference Final. And here we are, Tuesday morning, May 12th, year of our Lord, 2026. And the Oklahoma City Thunder, 8-0, headed to the Western Conference Final. And last night, 5-point margin of victory, they're the closest game they've played so far. Wow, what? Can't believe it. Can't believe OKC swept the Lakers. Can't believe they swept the Suns. Or it's the most believable thing possible. And of course, they're going to sweep the Lakers. How could you not? When A, Luka Doncic doesn't play, and B, the 38th overall pick of the 2024 NBA draft, AJ Mitchell, making $3 million a year, which by regular people standards, you and me standards, oh, he rich. He rich. But by NBA standards, oh, he poor. He poor. 28 points from the 38th overall pick in the draft a couple years ago. No big deal. Of course the Thunder sweep the Lakers. This was always going to be the result. And maybe sweep didn't have to be the result. Maybe the Lakers could have won last night and gentlemen sweep and lose in game 5. But this was never going 6. It was never going 7. They had no chance of winning. I've been saying it since before the playoffs started. Said it after game 1. That there's nothing that anyone can do on the Lakers to make this go any differently. And specifically, there's nothing LeBron James can do. Nothing. Could play the greatest basketball of his career, and it's not going to matter, and it's not going to make a difference. For all intents and purposes, this is the 2007 NBA Finals, Cavs versus Spurs. This is the 2018 NBA Finals, Cavs versus the second Kevin Durant Finals MVP Warriors team. So now that we're here, and it's over, the Lakers have lost. The Thunder move on. We can now talk about what's next, specifically as it concerns LeBron James. I will offer this context before we get into the meat of this subject. Oh, and there's a lot of it on that bone. I am not a LeBron fanboy, although I'm accused of being one very often these days because I tell the truth. I am called a Bron-sexual, which I guess means I'm sexually attracted to LeBron James and only LeBron. Does that mean I also like Bronny? If you're a Bron-sexual, I don't know the rules of this. I haven't posted a LeBron James video on social media in like a week, and I still have, I woke up this morning to Instagram comment. I'm like, what are the comments? Oh, you're a Bron-sexual. Still? We're still doing this? I'm not a LeBron fanboy. I don't think he's the best Laker of all time. I think Jordan's better. And I'm not looking to turn this into Jordan LeBron, but I'm just saying, right? Like, I don't think that I drink the LeBron James Kool-Aid. And I think if you're going to, that does make you a Bron-sexual. So I don't like wake up in the morning thinking, wow, like I need to go out on my shield defending LeBron James today. But what I always want to do is tell the truth. So let's tell the truth right now about LeBron James and what the future, and look, it's his decision to make, obviously, but I'm going to give you my opinion on what I think's going to happen and then what I think should happen as it concerns LeBron James moving forward in the NBA. I sincerely doubt, but I don't know for sure, but I sincerely doubt that last night was the final game in the legendary career of LeBron James. I sincerely doubt it. Maybe it is. He gave you, honestly, like, I don't even want to play the audio for you because it's the typical LeBron vagary, right? Post-game of, I don't know what I'm going to do, but when I find out, you'll find out. Okay, like, fine. Total stock answer. Totally get it. Totally understand where LeBron's coming from. I doubt that was his last game. So if if he wants to continue playing, if LeBron wants to continue playing, let's now consider the facts. LeBron is 41 years old, and he is not under contract for next season, and there have reportedly been 0 talks for a contract extension for LeBron James with the Los Angeles Lakers. We had Zach Harper from NBA Radio and The Athletic on the show yesterday, and I asked Zach, it's like we all expect the Lakers to lose last night, which they did. And he said he thinks there's a chance LeBron goes back to LA. Now, if that happens, LeBron's going to have to take a huge pay cut to make it happen because Luka's making so much money, and they're going to have to pay Austin Reeves this summer. And I do think they should, even though this was not a great postseason for Austin Reeves, like the two-man game with Luka and Reeves is electric offensively. Luka always plays better with like a guard next to him, whether it's Jalen Brunson, whether it's Kyrie Irving, right? And I'm not suggesting Reeves is to that level, but like they were really good together. Reeves is a young player. I think it makes a lot of sense. So LeBron would have to take a pay cut. To anyone that wants to suggest, and again, like I'm not a LeBron fanboy, just like, can we all be honest here? And can you all understand how insane that suggestion is? Now, maybe he does it, and it's his decision to make. It's his decision to make if he's going to take the minimum or he's going to take a huge pay cut. And just to anyone out there who wants to say, well, he's got all this money already, why doesn't he play for the minimum? Why don't you play for the minimum? Why don't you take less money? At any point in your life, you take less money. You do it. Because I'll tell you what, as you move forward, you the person watching, you the person listening, you move forward in your career, it doesn't matter how well you do. It doesn't matter how much money you make. You're going to want to make more. And it's not just because you want to make money, which you do, it's an ego thing. And everybody's got an ego, whether you want to admit it or not. Be honest. You take the minimum. You take less money. See if you do it. LeBron James should not have to take the minimum. Again, we're in the business of telling the truth on this show. Do you think LeBron James is a minimum player? LeBron James, if this is the end of his career, this is like the T.S. Eliot line, right? LeBron James, well, I'll do the inverse, does not go out with the whimper. He goes out with a bang. 23-7-7 in a postseason without Luka Doncic and with Austin Reeves not playing well. He's playing with like you and me. This might as well be LeBron, Boobie Gibson, Anderson Varejao, like Tristan Thompson, J.R. Smith. What is this? To the point that like the conversation this morning is, why was Rui Hachimura not in the game at the end last night? This is how far this has come. Rui Hachimura, good player. Not trying to insult him. But when when that talent level has degenerated and is at the point where, oh my God, why was Rui Hachimura not in the game last night at the very end? Like, what are we talking about here? Like, should we have dusted off Matthew Dellavedova to play last night for LeBron James? Do you understand what's happening here? How good this guy still is? How unbelievable this is? In addition to being awesome on the court, a lot of the criticism of LeBron, some of it came from me. And it's less criticism and more projecting this, right? What's this going to look like? LeBron, throughout his career, has never not been #the guy. It's never not been that. This year, obviously, after the Luka trade last year, LeBron is not the guy. Luka Doncic is the guy. And how's this going to go for the Lakers? How is LeBron James, probably the second greatest player ever, how is he going to take to being second banana to Luka Doncic? Not only did LeBron James willingly change his role to be second banana to Luka Doncic, he decided to become the third banana, and Austin Reeves became the second banana. This is that Batman is Luka, Robin is Austin Reeves, and LeBron is Alfred. He's the butler. And he's the greatest butler of all time. He's Jeeves. It's unbelievable. So he's not just still not good. And again, like, you can hate him, and I understand. Like, I said this last week. He's broken your brains. Like, your brain, not everybody, a lot of you. Your brains are broken by this guy. You can't talk about LeBron without mentioning Jordan. Crazy. You can't talk about LeBron without mentioning Kobe. You can't do it, right? He's broken your brain. Are we really going to do this thing where it's like, he sucks? He's not good anymore. He's not worthy of making a lot of money next year. Are we going to do that? Like, look, like, you can hate him. You can be like Dylan Brooks, one of the great trolls of our time, showing up with, I got to tell you something, man. He's with Paul Wall and Nelly. Rob the jewelry store and tell him, make me a grill. With that grill Dylan Brooks had on last night. You can hate LeBron James. That's fine. I'm not telling you have to like him or dislike him. You can feel however you want to feel. But what I won't accept on this show is if you're going to come on and deny what's happening on the court, on the field, on the pitch, whatever. He's still great. He's still not good. He's still great. Any team in the NBA, any of them, starting with the Lakers, we could put the Cavs in the mix. Obviously, that's an easy one. Easy dots to connect. We'll see how the next couple games go. We'll see how this goes against the Pistons, right? Or you could talk about if things go poorly for the Knicks moving forward, and I pray that doesn't happen as a Knicks fan. The Thunder, seriously, you can hate him. That's fine. I don't care what you like or don't like. That's your, I like and dislike things. That's fine. Are we really going to say that any team in the NBA wouldn't be better with LeBron James? Every team in the league should be lining up to sign LeBron because he's still awesome. He's not good. He's great. He's great. He's great. And he is clearly willing to accept a reduced role. How do I know that? He did it. It happened. He did it this season. And we're still going to do, he's not Jordan. Not my Laker GOAT. He's no Kobe. He's no Magic. Well, he took his talents to South Beach. Like, get over it. Get over it at least in how you talk about the guy as a player. You don't like him personally. I don't care. You don't like his politics. He can be passive-aggressive. I understand. I mean it. I can understand it, right? But I don't want to do this where, like, he sucks and he's not good anymore. And you play for the minimum. You take the minimum. You do it. I dare you. I dare anybody. Doesn't matter how much money you make. No one wants to make less money. You might think, well, look, I'm doing all this, and yet he's out there, and he's got this match, and he's a billionaire. I'm just telling you, this is human nature. You don't have to like it, but it is what it is, and you need to accept it. And just to get ahead of it, I have no idea if he's going to stay or he's going to go. He's going to retire. He's going to want to come back. And if he does come back, who he's going to play for. Just like this idea that this run in Los Angeles, if it's over, has been anything other than a smashing success is insane to me. Insane. And I have seen so many different takes from people. And, like, these are people I respect. And, it's like, the takes are backed up. It's not like they're idiots. I just disagree. Where it's, oh, well, look at the playoff record. Missed the playoffs twice. Has gotten swept a couple times. Only won one championship. Think about the bar. And how high it is, where one championship isn't enough. It's not enough. It's not enough, right? One championship isn't enough. How insane and ass backwards that is. That one championship isn't enough. The entire point of professional sports is to win. That's the goal. You work for a team, you play for a team, you coach for a team. The goal is to win. Hang a banner. Last I checked, they hung one. He won one. And you could do the asterisk thing, and it was in the bubble, and they didn't have the parade, and, like, it all sucks that that's how it happened. Like, the country sucked at that point in time. Not a political comment, just like, did you enjoy it? During COVID? During the bubble? Like, what a respite that was. And we're going to take that. We're just going to be like, yeah, whatever, hand wave, it didn't happen. It happened. Sorry, like it happened. Whether you like it or not, it happened. And we're going to do this where, you know what? It wasn't good enough. Like, they won a title. Isn't that the point? There are organizations in professional sports that have not only never won a championship, have never sniffed a championship. He won one, and we're still doing the not good enough. Seems a little nutty, doesn't it? Doesn't it seem a little crazy? So I just want to get ahead of that now. I'm not here for the LeBron stunk as a Laker, and it wasn't good enough. You won a title, period, end of story. Conversation is over. Last note here. I'll be quick on this one, right? Because there will be time to really flesh this opinion out whenever LeBron makes hashtag the decision, which is like the 9th decision of his career, to be fair. LeBron, and pro wrestling fans will understand this reference, has turned face and heel in his career like more times than the Big Show. Like more times than Kane. That's gotta be LeBron. Babyface in Cleveland. Hulk Hollywood Hogan level heel in Miami. Back to babyface in Cleveland. Heel in Los Angeles. Don't you feel like the face turn is brewing? That the seeds have been planted for it? I think he turned face this year, given that he took, the third banana roll, the fact that he did, 23 set, beat the Houston Rockets basically by himself. Let's say LeBron comes back to the Lakers. He's the third banana, and everybody knows it. You're going to root against him? Closes his career somewhere else. 41 years old, making one more championship push. You're going to cheer against that? Because he signed with the Heat? Because he took his talents to South Beach? Because he formed a super team? Because you don't like his comments he's made politically? Really? Can we just do sports? So many brains have been broken by this guy. You can feel however you want about him personally, but let's be honest about what happens when the game actually starts. Speaking of starts, we're just getting started here on a Tuesday, you bet on Westwood One Sports. Later this hour, we will get to the Cavs and the Pistons and Donovan Mitchell's electric second half last night to not only save the Cavs seasons, but maybe save this iteration of the Cleveland Cavaliers. But on the other side, the Oklahoma City Thunder. 8-0 thus far in the playoffs. But there's something they really need, desperately need, if they're going to beat either the Spurs or the Wolves. We'll talk about it next.
Gilgeous-Alexander, and he sticks it. 33. McCain is in. Dort is out. Gilgeous-Alexander with the ball. Blitzed. Hartenstein. Holmgren. James defends. The duck. The spin. The dunk.
Now, back to You Better You Bet with Nick Kostos on Westwood One Sports.
Kevin Harlan with the calls last night on Amazon Prime. This segment sponsored by Progressive Commercial Insurance, protecting small businesses with affordable coverage options. Get a quote today at progressivecommercial.com, progressivecommercial.com. Gee, if only we could have all seen this coming. It's like, of course, this was a bye. The Oklahoma City Thunder had a bye to the Western Conference Final. Like a free ride to the Western Conference Final. It's the Phoenix Suns, and I mean this. I'm not trying to be dismissive of the Suns, who way overperformed expectation this season. But they're not ready to compete with the Thunder. That's fair, right? That was never good. It's a 1-8 matchup. Like, what do you expect? Like, Pistons Magic was one thing in the Eastern Conference. That was never happening in the West. And then I went nuts about it the Monday after the final Sunday of the regular season. Like, the fact that the Nuggets, Spurs, and Wolves were all on the other side of the bracket was just, like, the Thunder don't need luck. They don't need luck. But they are lucky. And it doesn't mean they're not great. They're the best team. So again, listen to me. They're the best team. I'm not taking anything away from them. They are the best team left. Doesn't mean they'll win the title, but they're the best team. They are also tremendously lucky. Tremendously. Here's the Lakers without Luka or the Rockets without brain cells in round 2. Here's Victor Wembanyama doing his best Bruce Lee impersonation in Game 4 of the Western Conference semifinal, elbowing Naz Reid in the throat. Wemby escaping further discipline from the league, and a lot of people are mad about that. I think people fail to realize, though, that the NBA has this thing with first-time offenders, that they get the benefit of the doubt. Victor Wembanyama, first-time offender. So when you have people like Draymond Green, who should probably just go sit on an island for a while and count his money. When Draymond Green tweets, basically, if this had been me, can you imagine what would have happened? Or if Naz Reid had elbowed Wemby, what would... Draymond. Draymond is the repeat offender of all repeat offenders. Which of these things is not like the other? The guy who has never done anything? Or the guy who has done everything at least once? So I told you yesterday on the show, just to wrap up the Wemby point, right? And we'll do Spurs-Wolves preview later. You know I'm betting Minnesota plus the points tonight. But we'll talk about the game and who's going to win. I said yesterday, I don't think Wemby's going to get suspended. I wouldn't suspend him if I were the league for Game 5, but if he gets suspended, you can't really be shocked because, again, he elbowed Naz Reid in the throat. And the Thunder just have to be watching that. Watch that elbow. And then there are people laughing harder and have a more look of shock than Dylan Harper when Wemby elbows Naz Reid in the throat. It's SGA, and it's Mark Daigneault, and it's Sammy Presti. Because they're just you want to keep making this easier for us? We will accept the help. We will gladly accept the help. God, look like Mike Ehrmantraut in season 1 of Better Call Saul, swinging that elbow. Victor Wembanyama. The Oklahoma City Thunder, in addition to being very lucky, as I've said, are the best team. And Sam Presti has entered this zone as a GM where he is essentially King Midas. Everything this dude touches turns to gold. Allow me to do my best gold member impersonation here. Sam Presti, everything he touches turns to gold. How about no, you silly Dutch bastard? Everything he touches turns to gold. AJ Mitchell it's funny, right? It is kind of humorous, right? And look, I'm a Knicks fan, and like the season is most likely going to end with the Thunder beating the Knicks, and I am going to be like in a straitjacket by the time. No one's going to hate the Thunder more than me after that happens. But look, you can laugh at it, right? Here's the 38th pick in the draft for a couple years ago, scoring 28 points in a closeout game in Los Angeles against LeBron James and the Lakers. Can I say something crazy? Tell me if I'm wrong. Now, before I say it, and before everyone gets mad, SGA is obviously better than AJ Mitchell. Obviously, it's really not even close. SGA is about to win 2 straight NBA regular season MVPs and likely will be 2-time NBA Finals MVP consecutively. SGA is better, clearly. Who is better in this series, AJ Mitchell or SGA? I know SGA had 35 last night. AJ Mitchell had 28. AJ Mitchell's ridiculously good. He was the 38th pick in the draft 2 years ago. 28 points in a closeout game. This is preposterous for the Thunder. Sam Presti is so good at being an NBA general manager that the Thunder have 2 players named Jalen Williams who are both awesome. Their names are spelled a little differently. This would be like if the Spurs back in the day had Tony Parker, Tony, and then Tony Parker, Toni, and they were both awesome. So you have Tony Parker, and Tone Parker. Tone. All on one team. This is what the Thunder are doing. They're so good that they have players with the same name who are both awesome. And just, here you go. Here's Topic. And here's Sorber. Like, guys that don't even play for this team. And oh, by the way, they have the 12th pick coming up in this year's NBA draft. And a lot of mocks I've seen have them taking Axel Landenberg. Because that's what the Thunder need. Here's national champion, best player on the national champion Michigan Wolverines, Axel Landenberg. And I'm not saying that's who they're going to take, just that. Can you imagine? So yeah, like they're the best team, and yeah, embarrassment of riches. And yes, they've gotten lucky, and yeah, this was the easiest ride imaginable to the Western Conference Final. Next sentence. It's about to get real for OKC. Like the easy ride, the free ride, is coming to an end. This is like, and I'll tell you a personal anecdote here. And this is just goes to show how there's a word I want to use that I won't use, but how stupid I was, and maybe still am, but really how dumb. Honestly, you could blame my parents. What the hell are they doing? I remember having an American Express card after I graduated college and working at Sirius XM in Manhattan, and I take the Long Island Railroad into the city. I remember literally buying a monthly ticket for the Long Island Railroad with my American Express card, right? Putting the Amex card in. It was like $150. It's probably like $800 now. It's like $150, like 20 plus years ago. The ticket comes out, and I'm thinking to myself, it's free. I didn't pay for this, and yet I have it. I'm just, charging stuff on my Amex card. Not like a Lamborghini or anything like that. But, charging. And then the bill came due. And my nickname for a long time was Nick Minimum Payment Kostos. Really, really, really stupid. The Oklahoma City Thunder essentially have been running up a credit card bill. And the bill gon' be due in the next round against either Minnesota or San Antonio. So yeah, it has been lollipops and sunshine and roses and cookies and ice cream and whatever pleasurable thing you want to throw out there for OKC. 2 series, 8 wins, 0 losses. It's about to get tougher. And now, for the first time this postseason, we can say this. They have to get J-Dub back. You need J-Dub. You have to have Jalen Williams. the better Jalen Williams, not J. Will. Again, how insane is this? There's a J. Dub and a J. Will. Not J. Will. They need J. Dub. Obviously had the hamstring injury, has had multiple injuries this season. Have to have him. Now, I think they can beat the Wolves without J. Dub. I think so. I think they can beat the Wolves without J. Dub. I don't think they're beating the Spurs without him. So, yeah, this has been an easy ride to the Western Conference Final. But we're now getting to the point where we need news. If you like the Thunder or you're a Thunder fan, where is J-Dub? Is he going to be ready to play? Because I don't think they're beating the Spurs without him. Coming up next here on You Better You Bet on this Tuesday, Westwood One Sports, why I believe Cavs Pistons best of 3 is really Donovan Mitchell versus Cade Cunningham best of 3. Presented by BetMGM.
Cunningham is accepting the defensive challenge. Mitchell, step back, raindrops!
I set the tone in Game 3, getting downhill in transition, and I don't think I did that one time in the first half. And for me, that's the catalyst. So it's not just always the score, right? Like I was able to get into the paint and score, but trying to just at least create confusion. Trying to find ways to set the tone early in the offense. And I didn't do that in the first half. So I came in and told my guys, it's on me. And I tried to make a statement in the second half.
Now back to You Better You Bet with Nick Kostos on Westwood One Sports.
Heading into a huge summer of soccer, the World Cup is starting pretty soon. BetMGM is the best place to bet on the world's game. And in the English Premier League, and we told you last week, by the way, about Arsenal and Man City. How about Arsenal on a VAR challenge at the end of this past Sunday's game? Wins 1-0. And if Arsenal wins its final 2 games, the Gunners will be Premier League champions for the first time in 20 years. In the EPL, sometimes it's best to call the match before the final whistle. With BetMGM, if your team jumps out to a 2-goal lead, you can win your wager instantly. No waiting, no late game drama. This offer available for all EPL matches, and there aren't that many match days left, and match days are like weeks in the NFL. Download the BetMGM app today, and please gamble responsibly. Noah Eagle with the call last night on NBC and Peacock, and then Donovan Mitchell speaking postgame. This series, and I know that by the way, I got the trivia question right. Just want to throw that out to the guys. No one knows what I'm talking about, but there you go. This series with the Cavs and the Pistons has been electric. And I know that this game was not especially close last night in the fourth quarter, although the Cavs really tried to give it away at the end to the point that Kenny Atkinson had to put the starters back in with like a minute just to close this game out so the backups would stop turning it over. Just on Kenny Atkinson as an aside, he is the best clapper since Jason Garrett. You could run over his dog in front of him and he would walk away clapping his hands. Like, the Cavs give up 65 consecutive points and he's clapping. What are you clapping for, buddy? I just needed to get that off my chest. So I know that this game was not really in doubt in the fourth quarter, but man, this is a great basketball game last night, and this series has ruled. And at halftime, and I liked the Cavs before the series. I bet them to win the series. I've bet them in every game of the series. It's been a mixed bag. Should really just bet them when they're home. So you know that I like the Cavs in the series. And I liked them last night. I bet them on the money, parlayed them with Thunder money line. So we get to halftime, and the Pistons are leading in the game. And Donovan Mitchell's got 4 points. And I'm thinking, if I'm being honest, Pistons in 5. It's going to get down to winning time, and that's Cade Cunningham time. And to be fair, and I love Cade, he is not exactly, to this point at least, through the 4 games of the series, covering himself in tremendous glory. Now, I'll give you my opinion on Cade in a moment as we progress further in this series. But I felt like Cade would win the game, and then the Pistons would win Game 5. And then the second half started. And the Donovan Mitchell avalanche, the Cavalanche, if you will, started. And Donovan Mitchell closes the game with 43 points. Here's my guarantee for everybody. We will not hear these 2 words said consecutively this many times in one day for a really long time again. Sleepy Floyd, tying the great Sleepy Floyd for the most points in one half of a playoff game with 39. And he had a couple opportunities to make it 40 and set that record. Missed a free throw, missed a layup. He had a couple chances. This was a virtuoso performance by Donovan Mitchell, a masterpiece by Donovan Mitchell in the second half. And I don't think that it's dramatic to say this. Donovan Mitchell last night in the second half did not just save the Cleveland Cavaliers in this series against the Detroit Pistons. He saved this iteration of the Cavaliers for at least 2 more games. If the Cavs lose that game last night, and let's say he's not going to end up with 4 points. Let's say he scores 15 points. They lose. They're down 3-1. They lose Game 5. Kenny Atkinson's probably getting fired. And who knows what happens to the core of this team? Are they a Giannis team? Are they the LeBron team? Who stays? Who goes? I don't know. But what I can tell you with confidence is that the team would not... And this actually extends out. Let's say they lose in 6. The team's not going to look like this next year. Something big is going to happen. They're not going to roll this core out again if they don't make it to the Eastern Conference Final. So Donovan Mitchell last night didn't just save the Cavs in this series, which he did last night. He saved for at least, it's a stay of execution for the Cleveland Cavaliers for at least 2 games. Save them for at least a couple games. This was a performance that went beyond a one-night impact. This has the potential to be a multi-year impact performance that Donovan Mitchell had last night in the second half of this game to almost single-handedly beat the Detroit Pistons and tie this series up at 2 games apiece. Now, the Cleveland Cavaliers thus far in this postseason have yet to lose a game at home. They are 6-0 at home, 4 wins against Toronto, 2 against Detroit. They are also 0-5 on the road. 3 losses north of the border and 2 losses thus far in Detroit. If the Cavs are going to advance to take on my Knicks in the Eastern Conference Final, they're going to have to win 1 game in Detroit. Have to win 1 game. It's a best of 3. Detroit hosts 2. Have to win at least 1 game on the road. And when I look at these 2 teams, Cleveland and Detroit, obviously, there are good players not named Cade and Mitchell. Jalen Duren. Tobias Harris has been a revelation in this postseason. James Harden. Evan Mobley. These are good teams. I look at this best of 3 coming up, because that's what it is now with the Cavs and the Pistons, as less Cleveland versus Detroit and more Donovan Mitchell versus Cade Cunningham. Donovan Mitchell, for all of the wonderful accolades and achievements throughout his career, has never been to a conference final. Hasn't happened. Cade Cunningham is obviously at the beginning of this now. Playoff appearance last year. Now, obviously, carried the Pistons to that series win against Orlando down 3-1. In MVP consideration this year. There is so much on the line in these next few games for Cleveland and Detroit. And yes, obviously, a lot's on the line for the 2 teams, but a lot's also on the line for these 2 star players. Who's going to show up? Who's going to show out? It is my belief that whichever star plays better between Cade and Donovan Mitchell, that team moves on to take on my Knicks in the Eastern Conference Final. I have to be real with everybody. You know I like the Cavs before the series. I'll take Cade over Donovan Mitchell. Hour 1 done, hour 2 for you coming up on the other side. We will start the hour talking more NBA playoffs with the great Justine Termine from NBA Radio.
Better You Bet with Nick Kostos.
Hey, this is Joe Buck, and you have done it. You have found it. You are listening to You Better You Bet. Great decision.
Hi, this is Kevin Harlan of CBS, Westwood One, and TNT, and I'm listening, as you do every day, to You Better You Bet with the most handsome single man in the radio business. A man who, if I was not married for 38 years, I might consider myself the kind of guy that can electrify a listening audience and a crowd of bystanders watching him do what he does so well each and every day. Continue to listen right here on You Better You Bet.
This is You Better You Bet on Westwood One Sports. Brought to you by BetMGM.
The terrific Sports Tuesday edition of You Better You Bet rolls on. Nick Kostos, our amazing crew, and you here on Westwood One Sports. Gotta tell you something. That first hour of the show felt good. Felt good. If all you out there, and Justine Termine is going to join us in a second, and I think he disagrees with me, so we'll have a spirited conversation about it in a moment. For all you out there, I know a lot of you hate LeBron James. And I'm not looking to adjudicate your feelings. You can feel however you want. But if you're going to be honest about this dude on the court, he's still got it in a big way, and every team in the league should be lining up to sign him this offseason. At 41, he's not good. He's still great. We talked about the Oklahoma City Thunder, why Sam Presti's basically King Midas. Here's A.J. Mitchell, 38th overall pick in the draft, at 28 points. All good. No big deal. Two players named Jalen Williams. They're both really good. Oklahoma City, basically a bye to the conference final. 8-0 thus far. But I'll tell you, this is going to be like me after college with a credit card, running up a bill. That bill about to become due in the Western Conference Final against either San Antonio or Minnesota. They need to get J-Dub back, especially if it's against the Spurs. And I also told you why. I think Cavs Pistons in this best of three coming up is not Cleveland versus Detroit, but Donovan Mitchell versus Cade Cunningham. We will get to more of the NFL schedule release coming up in 20 minutes, including the Chiefs and the Broncos Monday Night Football, the first Monday Night Football game of the season. But joining us right now to talk all things NBA, the star Sirius XM NBA radio. Got the chance to listen to him and Eddie Johnson yesterday on NBA Today, doing some errands for my wife. I'm laughing out loud in the car. The show is entertaining. It's informative. It's great. The host of NBA Today, the great Justine Termine, on Twitter at Termine Radio. And check out his YouTube page, youtube.com/Termine Radio for Termine Crashing Out. My friend, welcome back to the show. The hair looks great. How you doing?
He's doing well. Termine's doing a lot of stuff. Look at that. The YouTube. He's got the Sirius page. He's on Twitter. He's doing a lot of stuff outside of going out and entertaining the females.
And I would say he's doing a great job with maybe not the females.
Well, with this hair, this hair, maybe so. As you pointed out, it's looking good this morning.
See, I don't know why you don't wear that. And I know people that aren't watching the show, whatever. You've got like a great flow today. Why don't you always wear it like this?
I just don't put in the effort. Termine rolls out of bed and he wants to go out and do what he wants to do. Too much effort to me. Focus on prepping the show.
Yeah, well, you know what? You could be me who just puts too much effort into everything, and lots of things suffer, including perhaps, my marriage. Let's talk some NBA. You heard what I had to say about LeBron James. We talked about him a little bit during the break. We don't know what's going to happen. I doubt he retires. I'm guessing you agree. What is next for LeBron James, and how do you approximate, JT, where LeBron is at this stage in his career?
Yeah, LeBron's still obviously a tremendous player, but you were talking about like any team should want him. I'll tell you one team that shouldn't necessarily want him. That's the Los Angeles Lakers, so the team that he's playing for. Because, Nick, I think they got to move on and they got to start the next iteration of this team and put guys around Luka Doncic that can defend, that can hit outside shots, that are going to do the dirty work, rim running center, a guy that can defend the rim, like that stuff that Luka had around him in Dallas. As great as LeBron is, that's not stuff that he can do. And you got to start, because you're under the gun. Luka's got to start winning. He's going to be 27 next year. And, you look at some of the other guys that have won championships in recent memory, those guys did it 25, 26, 27. So you got to start this next iteration of the Lakers. I don't think you can do that with LeBron on the roster.
So let's just play this out, right? Let's say LeBron returns, the Lakers decide to move on, and like you gave some pretty good reasons as to why that might be some basketball reasons why that might be the case. Give me a team or teams that you think would be, and look, one of these teams could be the Cavs. Like we need to see what Cleveland does, obviously, here. So there's some projection here at this stage in the calendar. Give me a couple fits or like your one favorite fit for LeBron James if he decides to keep playing next season.
Well, I mean, there's certain, like the fun fit obviously is like, hey, go up and play with Steph. That would be fun because you get the old guys together, two of the all-time greats. Going back to Cleveland, I think is the, the storybook way to end it. If the Knicks don't win this year, heck, you can cap off your career by going to a team that clearly is good enough to win a championship, winning a title there. Imagine what that does for his legacy. But in regards to like basketball fit, the place I would say is probably Denver, where Jokic has never played with a really good player. They're two of the smartest players in the history of the sport, if not, two of the top 5 smartest ever, two of the top 5 passers, two of the top 7 passers of all time. So you team that up. That from just like a basketball perspective would be a ton of fun, but I'm not sure that there's any reason for LeBron other than winning and having fun on the court would go to Denver for the final year of his career. There's just no connection.
So I consume a ton of sports content, NBA content. I actually haven't heard anyone float that out. Like Denver being like, and the way you said it was, I think this would be the most fun with him and Jokic teaming up. Is that something that you think could be? So is that actually realistic as something that could happen in your mind? LeBron going to Denver to play with Jokic?
Because LeBron's just not going to live in Denver with a team he's got no connection for. So I don't see that taking place. Again, like I think the most realistic is he ends back up in LA, although it'll be a little bit of a pay cut. And I don't necessarily think that's good long term for the Lakers. I think they just need to separate themselves. And like I said, start this, Lucas team solely without any distractions from LeBron. I think the most realistic one is still him going back to LA, despite the fact I don't like the idea of it. But the other one is Cleveland. I mean, let's be honest. He goes back. He does the farewell tour with the team he's most associated with. So I would say it's probably between those two teams.
Let's turn our attention to the Cleveland Cavaliers now. And I'm curious if you agree with this. So I said to end the hour, it feels like Donovan Mitchell didn't just save the Cavs season last night with his second half performance. It kind of felt to me like he saved this iteration of the Cavaliers. I think they're going to get blown up if they lose the series here. So now we're entering a best of 3, Cavs versus Pistons. Where are you at with Mitchell and this series tied at 2 heading back to Detroit?
Yeah, you're right that he saved it, at least for now, because I thought the two teams that had to be blown up, maybe in the entire NBA, but certainly the Eastern Conference, were your Knicks and the Cleveland Cavaliers if they didn't win. Now, even some of the teams that aren't having success, my Celtics, they might blow things up, even though I don't think they have to. I think that it looks like it's trending in that direction. But Cleveland and New York, if they didn't win, they had to be blown up. And, I think Detroit is the better team. Detroit is the team you probably as a Knicks fan don't want to face. But Donovan Mitchell, if he plays like this, then yeah, he can lead them by himself to a series victory because he's that good. I thought he was the best player heading into the series, although he has really stunk all postseason long. I don't know if it's an injury. I don't know if it's a lack of mental focus, if he's tired, but this is not the same Donovan Mitchell we saw last year. If you recall, he was rattling off 48-point games, 43-point games. I think they played 9 postseason games. He had 2 40-point games, 6 30-point games. It hasn't been the same version of Mitchell so far this postseason. We saw that really for the first time last night in the second half. And if that's the version you get here, games 5, 6, and 7 moving forward, yeah, they're capable of winning the series, even though I think Detroit's the better team.
I just wanted you to punch this point home. So let's say, and I'm going to phrase the question this way. We get to a game 7, it would be in Detroit, obviously, and it's winning time. Final couple minutes of the game. Who does Justine Termine trust more to deliver a victory in the closing moments of a huge playoff game? Cade Cunningham or Donovan Mitchell, and why?
Well, I'm going to go with Cade Cunningham, as crazy as that sounds, because Cade doesn't have the experience. But you think about what Cade has already done in this postseason. He's down 3-1. He gives you 45 points going up against Paolo Banchero. Then they're down by 24 points in Game 6 on the road. What does Cade do there? He scores 19 points in the fourth quarter. So Cade, and then in the Game 7, he comes out. He's the best player on the floor again in that series. So, I think Cade, during the regular season, certainly, SGA was the most clutch player. I voted for SGA. Clutch player of the year. He hasn't had many opportunities to be clutch in this postseason because outside of last night, all the games have been blowouts for OKC. But to me, the guy who's been the most clutch in the entire postseason, Eastern Conference, Western Conference this year, has been Cade Cunningham.
How do you grade Cade's performance 4 games into the series? It feels like people are all over the map on Cade, pointing to turnovers. I think he's awesome. How do you grade Cade Cunningham 4 games into the series against Cleveland?
Yeah, I would say the turnovers, and that's the big issue. I mean, we've seen it with Harden throughout the postseason. You see it here, and you go forward and like you match up. Hey, potentially we get to the NBA Finals. The one thing you can't do against Oklahoma City is turn the ball over because they're the best at turning those into points in transition. You see, the Lakers had a ton of issues with that in this series, turning the ball over. OKC gets out in transition, scores. So I think that's the main concern here. But Cade is a guy that certainly is capable of being the best American player in the sport. If you lined up him and Anthony Edwards, say, who do you want for the next 10, 12 years? And I know it might sound strange after what Edwards did last game in game 4 with the 16 of his 36 coming in the fourth quarter. I would probably take Cade Cunningham. I like him that much. But yeah, he's got to fix the turnovers because that's been a massive issue here in this series so far.
You better you bet on this Tuesday morning. Nick Kostos and you, our guest, the great Justine Termine, Sirius XM NBA Radio, youtube.com/Termine Radio. Having a great hair day today. You're welcome. I'm going to invent a scenario for you.
Okay.
The Spurs beat the Wolves, Western Conference Final, Thunder Spurs. J-Dub's not ready to begin the series. Can the Thunder beat the Spurs without J-Dub? Jalen Williams without the Y and the I in the first name.
Well, yeah. I mean, listen, I think that, and it's crazy. I don't want the kid to be hurt, but I would almost enjoy seeing Oklahoma City try and win the championship without Jalen Williams, because what team in NBA history can win a title without an all-NBA guy, without their, second best player? And I'm not even sure if he's their second best player anymore, the way AJ Mitchell is playing, and Chet Holmgren's been good as well.
So you really think they'd beat the Spurs without him? Like he's out the whole series, you would still pick the Thunder?
I'm not saying they would. I'm saying they could. Like they could beat San Antonio.
Who would you pick?
The Knicks in the finals or Detroit.
Who would you pick? Let's say if I told you right now he's out, J-Dub's out the whole series against the Spurs. Who are you taking?
I'm still good. Even though I really think San Antonio could win, I would still go Oklahoma City. And here's why. I just think the lack of experience for San Antonio. Like we've already seen it in this series where Victor Wembanyama doesn't know what a flagrant 2 is. Then he loses his emotions because he's not sure, like he was obviously surprised this postseason by the physicality. So, he lost his cool as a result of not understanding how physical it is. So I think like that's part of the lack of experience is stuff like that. It's not just like, hey, we haven't felt the pressure of a game 7. It's like you're not used to the uptick in physicality, which clearly has thrown Wembanyama off his game here a little bit. And then De'Aaron Fox has to show up at some point. I mean, this guy is the one guy with experience on that team. He's making max money. They traded a lot of assets for him, and he's been a complete mess. And now he's dealing with an ankle issue because Ayo Dosunmu rolled into it in game 4. So, like I say, their head coach doesn't have any experience in Mitch Johnson. He's never coached in the postseason before. So, while I think San Antonio is capable of doing it, and San Antonio might have the matchup edge, from an experience perspective, I'd still maybe give OKC the edge without Jalen Williams. And maybe Jalen Williams will, hurt them because they're not accustomed to playing with him right now. He barely played in the regular season. He's missed most of the postseason. You can't just incorporate a guy like that into the lineup and expect no bumps along the way.
I say, maybe you'll think this is crazy. Let's say the Thunder winning the title, I think everyone would agree is the most likely outcome, right? So let's say they win the title, and they will have been awesome this season for large swaths of it, including in the postseason, without J-Dub, without Jalen Williams. Why wouldn't they trade him? Like, why wouldn't they trade? He's making so much money. Shea's making so much money. Chet's making so much money. Why wouldn't you trade him for, like, I don't know what they could get for him, probably a top pick in this year's draft and kind of, like, reset the clock a little bit? Like, is that something you think that could be on the table? Is that a crazy take?
No, I don't think so. If you can win without him, why wouldn't you? Listen, they're 8-0. They basically not had him throughout the entire postseason. They had 64 regular season wins essentially without him. AJ Mitchell is the lowest paid player on the entire team. 15 guys. He's making the least amount of money at $3 million. And then the contract actually goes backwards the next 2 years where he's making $2.85 million. And then Jalen Williams is going to make over $40 million next year, which is more than even, SGA is making this season. So, yeah, I mean, if you could turn him into something and then, reset the clock with a bunch of like draft picks or younger players who are under team control, I think that's been the plan for Presti the entire way. But I don't think it was with Jalen Williams initially. I think it was like, all right, we're going to hold on to our big 3 in SGA, Jalen Williams, Chet Holmgren, and then we could play around with the Dorts and the Carusos and the AJ Mitchells and the other Jalen Williams and maybe move them for younger pieces with more, control over their contract. But if you can win without him, and this is the version of AJ Mitchell that you have moving forward, who's not that much worse than Jalen Williams, then you might as well at least explore it.
What did you make of Elbowgate with Victor Wembanyama in Game 4 against the Wolves?
I mean, I thought everything went, I thought the league handled it well and the officials. He should have been ejected, but he should not have been suspended. The only thing I disagree with is I don't see how you can't at least find the guy. He looked at Naz Reid, paused for a second, and then threw an elbow directly at his throat. So
at his throat.
Would have been, at his throat. And again, that's part, if they lose this series, that's on Wembanyama. Wembanyama's got to take a lot of heat for that because they're clearly the better team, and he put his team in a position where they only lost that game because of his decision making. If he was on the floor, they win that game. They're up 3-1. They're the significantly better team. The fact they're in a 2-2 series, is shameful.
I heard you say this yesterday on your show. I would like to steal it, but I can't because you're here. But I thought it was a great take by you. I'd love for you to deliver it to our audience here. So Mitch Johnson, the Spurs coach, who sounds just like Doc Rivers, says after the game that I'm happy Wemby took matters into his own hands. You made a point here about what Mitch Johnson should be looking at his bench here. Deliver that to our audience as to what should be actually happening here if teams are going to be uber physical with Wemby, which obviously they will be.
Well, I mean, I think this is the point you're talking about. He's got to have somebody on that roster that goes in and plays the goon role, right? I mean,
absolutely.
Yeah, I mean, listen, and Denver doesn't have that either. Think of Oklahoma City. They have absolutely everything on that roster, and Presti still found room to get guys like Lou Dort who can be dirty, the other Jalen Williams who can be your enforcer. Then you look at Denver, Jokic has got to go out there and do it himself. Oh, well, there's a layup taken by Jaden McDaniels at times expires. Who's got to go handle that? It's got to be Jokic. He gets shoved towards the end of, I think, game 6. Who's got to go handle that? Oh, it's got to be Jokic that takes care of it. That shouldn't be the case. And on San Antonio, they got to have somebody that's the enforcer to protect Wembanyama. All the all-time greats have had it, if you think about it. I mean, you go to, Isaiah Thomas. All right, Bill Laimbeer, Dennis Rodman, Rick Morton. He had 3 of those guys. Your old Knicks teams, Charles Oakley and Anthony Mason.
Right. And Oakley for Jordan in Chicago before that also.
Exactly. All the all-time greats have had it. So the idea that you've got, a guy who's as rail thin as him and guys are going to be physical with him and you don't have a protector for him, I think is a mistake in roster building. And the same goes for Denver, at least with San Antonio. They're just starting to build this roster with Denver. They've had a decade to put somebody around Jokic. They've still yet to do it.
Dude, we can't send Kelly Olynyk or Bismack Biyombo out there to take a swing at somebody potentially. What the hell are they doing?
Yeah, I mean, Olynyk has basically yanked Kevin Love's arm out.
He broke Kevin Love's arm in a playoff game, right? We can't send him out there.
Yeah, go ahead and do it again, Kelly.
I love it.
Just not Kevin Love. He's just sitting on the bench in Utah doing nothing.
Fair enough. Game 5 tonight, Spurs-Wolves. Who do you like and why?
Well, I mean, I'm going to have to go with San Antonio. They're the far better team. But my concern is, you got 3 games left. Anthony Edwards is capable of stealing 1 game. Okay. So let's say Anthony Edwards goes off tonight, which he's capable of doing, like he did in game 4, right? He's 16 points in the fourth quarter. You lose that game as a result of him going off and maybe De'Aaron Fox not being 100% with the ankle. And Fox hasn't been good in this series when he's fully healthy. So who the heck knows what he's going to do tonight? Then you've got 2 games left. And who doesn't have the experience? San Antonio in a game 7 doesn't have any experience, even though they're the better team. Whereas Minnesota's gone on the road and beaten Jokic and the defending champ Denver Nuggets in 2024 after they had won the title in 2023. So even though I like San Antonio as the much better team, there is a road for them to lose just because they put themselves in a situation they shouldn't be in.
Are you as sick of the Giannis Antetokounmpo situation as I am?
Oh, God, end it as soon as possible. I mean...
They got to trade him, right? You agree with that? I actually don't know your opinion on this, if you think they should keep him or trade him. They got to trade him, right?
I think they should trade him just to give everybody peace from not having, because even when they were good and winning championships, everybody in the media was trying to move them. So now, of course, every single day. And I just don't want to be talking about this in August, in September. Then we report to, media day and training camp, and you're still talking about it. It's driving me nuts. The only thing I would ask is not to trade him on the morning of game 7, like the Suns did with Kevin Durant, this past year. And I'm sitting in the arena trying to preview a game 7, which should be the best thing in sports, game 7 NBA final. And I got to talk about Kevin Durant in retrospect. If I knew how bad Houston was going to be and how little impact Durant was going to make on that roster, I would have not talked about it at all.
Love it. What is your strongest or hottest take coming out of the NBA draft lottery on Sunday?
Oh, geez. What's the hottest take? that Indiana got screwed, but Indiana is still good. I mean, that was the I did a live reaction on YouTube. It was taking place, and that's where the head really exploded because I really like Zubats. A couple of years ago, I voted Zubats third team All NBA. I thought he was the third best center in the entire sport. He's really good defensively. I like the trade in regards to what he brings there, but now you're missing out on the 5th overall pick of a potential All NBA guy who's 19, 20 years old to a small market like that. So I still think that Indiana could come back next year and go to the finals. Halliburton, Siakam, Zubats, Nembhard, a really good head coach, and Rick Carlisle. But if you had added a guy like, I don't know, Darius Acuff to the mix or Wagler, then they'd be even more dangerous. So they're still winners, but they were also the big losers of the lottery.
True or false? The Washington Wizards will be a playoff team next year in the Eastern Conference.
No, they're the Washington Wizards. Like everybody talks about the Clippers as the most embarrassing organization in the history of the NBA. Well, our lifetime, there's been one team, Kostos, that's not even made it past the second round. And that's despite the conference they're playing in being an absolute abysmal joke. And that's the Washington Wizards. And I don't even yes, they got the first overall pick. Yes, it's likely to Bonsa, but I just wish they had bbeen patient and not traded for Anthony Davis and Trae Young and allowed this team to grow organically around it, Bonsa. Instead of, is the work ethic that you want to learn from necessarily Anthony Davis when he plays one game every year, I guess. Not, I was going to make a joke about once every couple of weeks. He basically plays one game a year.
I will disagree on that one. I think the Wizards will be pretty good next year. Final one for you. True or false? The Utah Jazz will be a playoff team next year in the Western Conference.
That I will agree with. That I think they can sneak into the post. By that you mean like play-in and then win a play-in game.
And yes, to be fair, just to qualify the question, let's say top 10, they're in the play-in. That's why you don't think the Wizards are going to be a top 10 team in the East next year, but we can take this to the Jazz.
Yeah, I mean, listen, maybe with the top 10, but they said, I mean, again, Anthony Davis never plays. The Bonsa's a rookie. Alex Sarr is, an okay top pick, but he's not, Cooper Flagg or Wembanyama. But with Utah, yeah, I mean, I think Utah's a really good team regardless. Lauri Markkanen, Keontae George is a great player. Ace Bailey started to come on second half of the year. Jaren Jackson now, who didn't even play for him. He played, 2 or 3 games. And then you add maybe Darren Peterson, maybe it's Cam Boozer. I think they have a good head coach in Will Hardy. We just haven't seen him have an opportunity to try and win games. He's been there for basically 3 or 4 years. They've lost on purpose every time he's been there. So,
what's the most exciting thing happening in JT's personal life?
Well, in about 10 seconds, I'm about to not have to talk to you anymore. So that's pretty good.
We'll talk to you later, buddy. NBA today, 4 to 7 p.m. Eastern on NBA Radio, youtube.com/Termine Radio. Appreciate you, buddy.
All right, farewell.
That was closer to 15 seconds, to be fair to JT. I love that. He's awesome. The show is great with him and Eddie Johnson. And you should check out his YouTube page. He's very funny, and I love the takes on the NBA. All right, we'll take a quick break, and on the other side, the Chiefs are playing Monday Night Football Week 1. Do you really think Patrick Mahomes isn't playing in that game? We'll discuss next.
Now, back to You Better You Bet with Nick Kostos and the crew. Presented by BetMGM on Westwood One Sports.
All right, everybody, listen up. This is important. We want you to lock in to Westwood One Sports, all the time. We want you to lock into Westwood One Sports. But how about this Thursday night, 8 to 10 p.m. Eastern, for the NFL Schedule Release 2026? This special will be hosted by friends of the show, Scott Graham and Mike Golick Sr. Scott and Mike going to announce and break down the upcoming schedule, including primetime, international, and holiday games. They'll be joined by the very entertaining, and I mean that sincerely, like when you listen to him, you will understand that I am correct, the very entertaining NFL Vice President of Scheduling, Mike North, as well as plenty of other great guests. This Thursday, when the NFL schedule is released, lock it in to NFL Schedule Release 26 at 8 p.m. Eastern with Scott Graham and Mike Golick Sr. only on Westwood One Sports. One of the games that the guys will be discussing coming up on Thursday night will be the opening Monday Night Football game of the season. And that game was announced earlier this morning by ESPN's Adam Schefter. Obviously, it's an ESPN game, Monday Night Football, and ESPN has the Super Bowl this year as well. Now, I don't think I've ever seen a game announced without a location. So, we know, Giants-Cowboys, Sunday Night Football Week 1, in the Jersey Meadowlands. We know that the Thursday Night Football opener on Amazon Prime will be Buffalo opening its new stadium against the Detroit Lions. We'll talk about that game in a moment. So usually you get the location. We don't have a location for Week 1 Monday Night Football. Just the two teams that will be playing. And those two teams are the Denver Broncos and the Kansas City Chiefs. I will give a really strong, obvious opinion, and I don't know who could possibly disagree with this. So everybody in the media and fans, I guess if you're a Chiefs fan, you won't say this. But if you can be honest and objective, we should all say the same thing. The Denver Broncos should host that game. Like Denver swept Kansas City in the regular season last year. Denver won the AFC West. The Broncos were the 1 seed in the AFC playoffs. And I will, and it doesn't matter, what's done is done. If Bo Nix is healthy, they beat the Patriots. And they're the team that loses to the Seahawks in the Super Bowl. So the Broncos, that game should be in Denver. I think that's fair that the Broncos host that game. We will find out maybe today, maybe tomorrow, maybe Thursday, but we'll find out soon who will host that game. Now, a lot can happen in 9 months. Insert joke here. Think about it. Think about the miracle of life. And people can make their jokes, whatever. As a father, watched my wife be pregnant, watched her belly grow, sonograms, watch her give birth. This is all, I don't think, I'll speak just for men. The male mind can really comprehend what goes on. We are dumb by comparison. I just want to sit and scratch my ass and play video games and watch sports and talk about it with all of you. Meanwhile, my wife is growing a human. Women grow humans. It's pretty unbelievable, right? So here is my question for everybody. What is more impressive in a 9-month span? Growing a human or recovering fully from a torn ACL? December 14th, 2025, Patrick Mahomes tears his ACL in a Chiefs loss to the Los Angeles Chargers. Monday Night Football, Week 1 this year, Chiefs-Broncos, September 14th, 2026. 9 months to the day. What's more impressive? Growing a human? Recovering from a torn ACL? I'm only being slightly facetious there. So here's my question for everybody, right? As it concerns Patrick Mahomes, who all reports have been, he's on track to participate in whatever form that is in all off-season workouts. Do you really think, seriously, that, and we can have the same conversation about Bo Nix, and the Bo Nix ankle thing is, I would not say it's worrisome as far as the regular season is concerned, but the can keeps getting kicked down the road. And the goalposts keep getting moved with Bo Nix and when he's going to return to workouts and offseason activities for the Broncos. And that's to a much lesser extent than Mahomes with the ACL, right? Here is my question for everybody. Do you think that A, the National Football League, and B, ESPN, would put Chiefs-Broncos in primetime, first Monday night game of the year, if the expectation was that Justin Fields was going to start the game? Or Jarrett Stidham. I've had enough of the Jarrett Stidham experience after one game. I'm good. You can be into it. I'm not. You don't think the NFL, and I'm not saying they have the crystal ball and they know for sure there can be setbacks, but come on. You don't think the NFL feels reasonably confident that Patrick Mahomes is going to play? That Bo Nix is going to play? And that this is going to be Mahomes and the Chiefs versus Bo Nix and the Denver Broncos? Come on. So if that's true, man, we got a freaking banger on our hands, man. The Broncos, with their proof of concept, they won the division last year. They played on Championship Sunday. They return basically the same team with Jalen Waddle added to the mix at the receiver position. Not bad. And the Kansas City Chiefs, presumably with a healthy Patrick Mahomes, with Kenneth Walker, Super Bowl MVP Kenneth Walker, now toting the rock in the backfield, and defensive reinforcements that I believe will transform this Steve Spagnuolo defense in an extremely positive way. With Mansour Delane at corner, with Peter Woods at defensive tackle, and with R. Mason Thomas coming off the edge. And when you think about this game, and we're months out, right? A lot can change. Chiefs-Broncos. If I tell you the game's in Denver, and let's throw point spreads out, who's going to win the game? Who do you like to win the game? The Chiefs or the Broncos? Assuming Mahomes plays, who's going to win? My sense is a lot of people, more than 50%, will say Kansas City. Because the Chiefs have Mahomes. Even after a 6-11 regular season, even coming off the ACL, even with Denver winning the AFC West, even with Denver sweeping Kansas City in the regular season, even with Denver having home field advantage last year in the AFC playoffs. My sense is that people will still like the Kansas City Chiefs. And so will I. This segment on You Better You Bet, sponsored by Progressive Commercial Insurance, protecting small businesses with affordable coverage options. Get a quote today at progressivecommercial.com. Progressivecommercial.com. Nick Kostos and You Better You Bet. Westwood One Sports. One other NFL game to discuss right now that we have had leaked for early in the season. That will be the Amazon Prime Thursday Night Football opener, Week 2, as the Bills will open their new stadium, hosting the Detroit Lions. Point spread of this game at a lot of domestic sportsbook has Buffalo less than a 3-point favorite, but really close to 3, a juiced 2.5-point favorite. And I'll give you an early betting opinion on that game. And it's early, and I have not bet it, and I will not bet it right now. So this is not meant to be like a go bet this game. Just an opinion early in the process. I love the Bills. I love the Bills this season. I love Jim Leonard running this defense. I love that Sean McDermott's not coaching the team anymore. And just to reiterate for our newer listeners and viewers, I am not saying Sean McDermott's a bad coach. He will be a head coach in the NFL again. He will likely be successful again. But the time had come. The expiration date had been reached in Buffalo with Sean McDermott. I love Joe Brady as the coach of this team. I absolutely love it. I think DJ Moore is going to add a lot to this passing game. And I think Buffalo will be a juggernaut this season, in the regular season. And I wouldn't be shocked, and I don't know what I'm going to do yet. I wouldn't be shocked if the Bills get to the Super Bowl this year with Josh Allen. And you know, if you've listened to the show or watched the show for any period of time, I have not said that throughout the tenure of You Better You Bet. I haven't said it. I feel like this could be a super season in Buffalo for Josh Allen. And it's not that I'm anti-Detroit Lions. It's just that the Lions right now, to me, are more of a theory than something proven. Because if you are going to make the case, and it can happen, I think Dan Campbell's a wonderful coach. Brad Holmes has done largely a really nice job building this team. If the Lions are going to get back to the level that they displayed the couple years previous to this last one, when they finished last in the NFC North, despite still being a good team, obviously, in a really good division, you need a couple things to happen. And they can happen, but they're just not guaranteed. Number one, can they get consistent production and pressure off the edge opposite Aiden Hutchinson? Can rookie Derek Moore be the guy to provide that? Are they a one-trick pony defensively with Aiden Hutchinson? I think it's a question that needs to be answered. Number two, can Drew Petzing coordinate a successful Lions offense here? I don't think he necessarily set the world on fire the last couple of years in Arizona, coordinating the offense there. I do think Sam Laporta will be a beast this season, but do we trust Drew Petzing? I'm not saying it can't happen, but I think it's a worthy question to ask. Can Drew Petzing coordinate a great offense in Detroit? And the final question. With Taylor Decker moving on, Penei Sewell's moving to left tackle. The Lions drafted Blake Miller to be their right tackle. Is that going to impact their offensive line negatively? Is he ready for the challenge? If all three of those things, the answer is yes. The Lions will be playing on Championship Sunday this year. They're going to be awesome. I just think it's tough to say right now with confidence that it's going to happen. And it's for those reasons why if you made me pick and bet right now, I'll take the Bills over the Lions Thursday Night Football in Western New York in week numero dos. We'll take a break, and on the other side, a blind ranking. I don't know what it is. That's why it's blind. Bill Zimmerman and the crew have put something together. I will attempt to rank them correctly. We'll do that next here on a Tuesday.
Now, back to You Better You Bet with Nick Kostos and the crew. Presented by BetMGM on Westwood One Sports.
We are heading into a huge summer of soccer, and BetMGM is the best place to bet on the world's game. In the English Premier League, sometimes it's best to call the match before the final whistle. With BetMGM, if your team jumps out to a 2-goal lead, you can win your wager instantly. No waiting, no late game drama. This offer available for all Premier League matches. Download the BetMGM app today. Our executive producer, Bill Zimmerman, is here with the blind ranking. It's blind, ergo I don't know what it is. Bill, what is today's blind ranking?
All right, Nick. Well, we talked about Draymond Green yesterday, and Barkley's talking about how the Warriors, the run is ending. So we're going to do the greatest trios from the NBA. All-time trio in the NBA. Are you ready?
Yeah, I don't know how well I'm, because you'll definitely have some old ones here. I don't know how well I'm going to do. I'm trying to think of like what let's roll it here. Let's see what I can do here.
We didn't go too far back. You're not going to find Bill Russell on this list, so don't worry too much. All right. We're going to start with the Spurs with Duncan, Parker, and Ginobili.
All right, so they won. So how many? So Duncan won in 99, Duncan won in 03, Duncan won in 07, Duncan won in 14, and they won another one as well that I'm missing for sure. So he won 5 titles. Duncan won 5 titles. So that means that Manu and Tony won 4, because the first one was just with David Robinson in 99. So they have to be very high on this list, given the number of championships they won. I will put them... They have to be 3 or 4. So I'm trying to think of who's definitely better than them. So you'll have a Bulls one. I'm guessing it's Jordan, Pippen, and Rodman is the third, I'm guessing. I want to hold one for Magic, Worthy, and Kareem. That'll be one. You'll have the Heat, I'm sure, with LeBron, Wade, and Bosh. I don't think that can be as high because they didn't win as many championships. Who's the third with Shaq and Kobe? Big Shot Bob? Derek Fisher?
There's more trios than 10, I will say that. So
yeah,
you're not going to find everything on here.
I think they have to be 3. I'll say 3.
All right, the Spurs come in at number 3. We're going next with Larry Bird, Kevin McHale, and Robert Parrish.
So, they're great, and they won a bunch of championships in the 80s, but individually, those players are not at the level of some of the others, collectively, right? Bird's obviously tremendous. McHale was really good. Robert Parrish, a good player. Robert Parrish is an all-time great. He's an all-time great because he played with these guys. I'll say they are, they won, 3 championships in the 80s? We'll put them at 5.
All right. Celtics coming in at number 5. We've got one here without championships. How about Karl Malone, John Stockton, and Jeff Hornacek, the 90s Jazz?
I don't know how many you have with no championships, but they have to be all the way down the list because they didn't win one. And they had many opportunities, obviously lost back-to-back to the Bulls. I mean, Malone and Stockton are 2 legendary players. I will assume that you have one more trio that doesn't have a championship, so I'll put them at 9.
All right. The aforementioned why we're doing this ranking, Steph, Clay, and Draymond.
Steph, Clay, and... They'll be 4.
All right. Warriors coming in at 4.
I'm saving Magic, and I'm saving Jordan for 1 and 2.
All right. Speaking of Jordan, Pippen, and Rodman.
Jordan, Pippen, and Rodman is number 1.
Oh, number 1 for the Bulls. All right. This is a fun one for me. How about
do you have 2 Jordans? Do you have 2 Jordans?
No, all players are on here. I should have mentioned that at the top. All players are on here only once.
Okay.
All right. Run TMC, Tim Hardaway, Chris
10.
Mullin, and Mitch Richmond.
11. 15. What?
All right. Warriors coming in at 10.
They never even went to a conference final.
They did not go to a conference final, but they had a lot of posts.
Yeah, they did. When we were kids. Yeah, they did have a lot of. When I was a kid, at least, when you were what? Buying beer for the first time. Go on.
All right. You have mentioned them. Magic, Kareem, and Worthy.
2.
To say, this is looking pretty good so far. Magic, Kareem, and Worthy coming in at 2. And now we have the Heatles, LeBron, Wade, and Bosh.
Okay, so they won 2 championships. LeBron and Wade are legendary players. I'm trying to think of who could have won more championships than them that we're going to have on this list. I don't know who the third player for the Heat is going to be better than the third Lakers player if you have the Shaq Kobe Lakers. I'll say that they're 6.
All right, we got 2 left here. We've got another Celtics trio. KG, Pearson, Ray Allen.
8. Only won 1 championship.
All right, so the Celtics coming in at 8. And our last one here is another no championship team. Kevin Durant, Russell Westbrook, and James Harden, the Oklahoma City Thunder.
I screwed this up.
You were so close.
Yeah, but I mean, how do you not have like Shaq Kobe and somebody from the Lakers?
Because we were talking about it. We're like, that's a duo. What are you going to throw Robert Horry in there or Derek Fisher?
Yes.
So
I mean, you threw Robert Parrish in.
We could have done Walt Frazier and Willis Reed and Earl the Pearl, but we didn't do that.
Busher, yeah. But like,
there's plenty of trios.
Dude, you threw Robert Parrish in there. If you threw Robert Parrish in there, you can't throw a Big Shot Bob in there for the Lakers? I'm being serious.
You said there's more trios than just 10.
So like
we did Malone, Stockton, and Hornacek.
That's the only thing I screwed up. Well, if I had known that Durant, Harden, so Malone and Stockton need to be higher than Durant, Harden, and Westbrook.
That's it. You just had them a little too high. You did a hell of a job.
This is pretty good, right?
It's pretty damn good.
The top
6
5
is flawless, I think.
The top 6 is flawless, right?
Flawless.
You could actually make the case that Magic, Kareem, and Worthy should be number 1.
Yes, you can.
Who would you have 1?
I think I'd actually put Magic, Kareem, and Worthy 1.
You can make that just like it's Jordan. And Magic, Kareem, and Worthy lost. Like Jordan never lost. All right. And I feel good about Duncan, Parker, Ginobili over Steph Clay and Draymond over Bird, Mikal, Parrish. I think I nailed those 3.
Yeah, I agree.
So a success?
A success.
Love it. Great success.
Not perfect, but a success.
All right, final hour, Power Hour coming up next. We'll start the hour talking the PGA Championship with our friend Gary Williams from the Golf Channel.
Now, back to You Better You Bet with Nick Kostos and the crew. Presented by BetMGM on Westwood One Sports.
Bring it up, Grant. You better you bet on Westwood One Sports. Nick Kostos, our amazing crew, the great Gary Williams, and you. The Power Hour and every hour here on You Better You Bet, brought to you by BetMGM. Make it legendary by downloading the BetMGM app and visiting BetMGM.com. And this segment on You Better You Bet, sponsored by Progressive Commercial Insurance, protecting your business vehicles 24/7. See if you can save at ProgressiveCommercial.com. Joining us in 20 minutes, the general manager of the Carolina Panthers, the great Dan Morgan, here on You Better You Bet. But joining us right now, one of our absolute favorites. He's already made me laugh several times, and we haven't even hit the air yet. The very entertaining, the very funny, and the very informative Gary Williams of 5 Clubs, Golf Channel, SiriusXM PGA Tour Radio, on social media, at Gary Williams 1UP, getting set to preview the PGA Championship at Aronimink in Philadelphia, as Philly sports fans look to redeem themselves. Gary, how's it going? Happy major week. What's going on?
Well, Nick, good to see you, my friend. I love Philadelphia golf. Don't particularly care for any Philadelphia sports fans. Looking forward to the week being over. How's that?
Well, that's guessing. What did Gary Williams think? And we will do golf in a moment here. What did Gary Williams think of New York Knicks fans taking over Philadelphia and turning it into another version of Madison Square Garden, and the Sixers having to say after the game how much it sucks for them?
Well, it was glorious. As a Knick, Giant fan, Ranger fan, particularly as a Giant fan, being in this area, we have been their piñata for the better part of a decade. So any pound of flesh that a New York sports team can take out of a Philly team, I'll take it.
Oh, absolutely. Now, with that, all that being said, like, the Philly golf fans actually are like, this should be a pretty awesome atmosphere this week. That's fair to say, though, right?
It'll be great. It'll be great. Philadelphia golf, New York, just to give a little quick history lesson, New York got a head start on Philadelphia when golf was becoming interesting to people a little bit more than 100 years ago. But Philadelphia caught up. There was a group of men who became some of the most important figures as far as architecture and design, not only in the Northeast, but around the country and the world. And Philadelphia golf is great. I love coming here. I love playing golf. Got a lot of dear friends in the Philly area. And this is a wonderful, classic Northeast golf course. Donald Ross, who designed, very prolific designer, but it was restored recently by Gil Hance in 2017. I was here last fall. Great membership, vibrant culture of not only golf, but this is a great place to recreate. And even though scoring may be, particularly if we get a little bit more rain tomorrow, scoring can be out there for this field of 156, but I love this place.
I have to be honest. I love recreating.
There's nothing better.
I don't get to do much of it at this point in my life with the 2-year-old, but I do like to recreate whenever possible. I'm trying to decide if I hate that I'm about to ask you this question. I think it's a necessary question to ask. I hate that I'm leading with it, but you know so much about this. You're ensconced in this world, and I feel like I'm speaking for the audience when I say none of us really know what's happening right now with Liv and what's going to happen with all these golfers. So, like, we'll talk about Scotty, we'll talk about Rory, but this is like an omnipresent story. It feels like there's a different twist or turn every day. Are they folding? Are they staying? What's happening with the players? Can you break it down for us, Gary? What in the world is happening with Liv and the possible assimilation back into the PGA Tour?
No, I love the way that you set up that question. By the way, I'm ensconced in suede today. And Rory he was very taken by it. Spoke to him about an hour ago. John Rahm,
what did he say?
Yeah, he loved it. He loved it. He knows it's a Peter Millar piece. He knows where to get it. He said, "How much is that?" I said, "You're asking the wrong guy. I don't pay retail." But I digress. To your question, which is a good one, John Rahm just met the media, and he was asked, in some ways, similarly to what you just asked me, like, where is this all going? And I think that the real simple answer is we don't know. He doesn't know. I think that Liv and the people who are running Liv, they've hired 2 outside agencies who are in the business of taking fledgling businesses and trying to find financing for them, whatever sector they're in. And look, the sports sector is very healthy. We see a lot of investment from private equity globally in a lot of sports enterprises, but those are far more established than Liv is. They right now have been untethered by what was a cash cow, and that was the Public Investment Fund of Saudi Arabia. And what I do know is that there is not anywhere near the level of funding out there in the marketplace for them to possibly get even close to what it was that they were spending on players, on course procurement. So I think right now the question is going to be, will players, and they've already started, to reach out to the PGA Tour. What are the pathways back? What are the barriers? What are the penalties going to be? So these players who are Live players, like John Rahm and Bryson DeChambeau and Tyrrell Hatton and some of the younger guys who are very talented guys, it's hard as a human. It's one thing once you get inside the ropes to be able to focus on what it is that you're trying to do. But all the other time, there's no doubt that there's a lot of distraction for a lot of these guys, and distraction can affect performance. So I think Bryson and John Rahm, who had forgettable weeks at Augusta National, they never factored, are going to be interesting, not only this week, but in the majors going forward in 2026.
And I'll say this, the distractions can be there. Maybe they get really upset. The good news is, let's say they get really upset and they want to shed a tear. They can wipe those tears with $100 bills, or perhaps with the suede vest from our friends at Peter Millar. That's good stuff here. We will get micro in a moment here, and perhaps your answer has to do with the Live players here and what's going on. But curious, what is Gary Williams' favorite macro storyline? And this anywhere you want to take it, and I'll dovetail off from there heading into the PGA Championship. Is what and why?
Nick, I would. There's been a lot of very good storylines. There has not been in men's professional golf an overarching storyline. Rory is the biggest winner so far, having won the Masters and doing it back-to-back years. So I would start with him, because since the PGA moved to May, which was 2019, there have been 2 players that have won 2 majors in a calendar year, and it's been the last 2 years. And that was Andrew Schauffele 2024 and then Scheffler 2025. But my question to Rory this morning was, are you surprised that nobody has picked off 2 in a row? They've done it that with one in between. Schauffele won the PGA and then won the Open in 24, and then Scheffler turned the same trick, won the PGA last year, didn't win the U.S. Open, then won the Open Championship. And so it was a setup for him because he's the guy looking for 2 in a row. And he said he's not particularly surprised because he thinks the Masters comes with a particular set of distractions and celebration and reflection that it's hard to recalibrate just 4 weeks later. He can do this. I think he's the story because he's now at 6 and he's keeping great company with, the historical figures who've won 6 majors. You get to 7, now you're in the company of the likes of Sam Snead and Arnold Palmer. So I'd start with Rory. He can hit driver around this place, he said, with total liberty, and that's his greatest weapon. I would start with Rory.
Let's continue with Scottie Scheffler and your approximation of where he is the favorite, as he is in every tournament he plays in, heading into the PGA Championship. What about Scottie entering this tournament?
I love him. I think that they are, and they are anyway, but I think for other reasons in terms of, trend lines and form. And even though Rory finished tied for 19th last week, I followed him in Charlotte all 4 days. He drove it great. Iron play was great. He was very scratchy, kind of rusty around the greens, and his putter was he didn't have a good week. For Scotty, he's coming off 3 straight seconds, going back to the Masters, and then those 2 events with stacked fields at Harbor Town, and then 2 weeks ago down in Miami. He is like a freight train that when you get to that train crossing and you're going, how far away is it? He's close. And I think this could be the week. He could go back-to-back in this championship. And the other thing that he's doing really, really well, Nick, his putter is cooperating week in, week out. His putter's been great. He's the best iron player, and that's the one area where he's been a little deficient, relatively speaking, compared to what he's done the last 4 years. I would make him the favorite, and then I would put Rory just kind of on the side as kind of 1A, 1B.
There's a guy over your left shoulder that keeps walking in and out of the room. He's wearing a blue shirt. Can we send him to get the truck to stop backing up?
I don't know if Ben Bovic, who is a producer who's just dying to be heard, I don't know if he has that authority.
All right, we'll get to a producer.
We just got stuff going on.
We have another producer who's dying to be heard, Tyler Morales. We'll hear from him coming up momentarily.
Tyler needs to. He needs serious evaluation. I'm not talking from one doctor. He needs a team of people working around the clock. Like maybe go to Geneva, because any guy who thought Cam Smith was going to outperform Ludwig Oberg at the Masters, Tyler, do you think I forgot? Oh, no. No, I have not. One hell of a streak of losers.
Is Tyler a loser?
No, Tyler is, I think he has good intentions. He's that kid who gets picked last in the kickball game, every single recess period. And then one day he's going to go yard. But that day is probably still a long way off.
You bet on this Tuesday, West 101 Sports. Nick Kostos joined by the great Gary Williams, Golf Channel, Sirius XM PGA Tour, Radio 5 Clubs, on Twitter at Gary Williams1Up. Gary, I know that the word need, I'm about to use the word need in this question. I know that it's dramatic, and I know that it's not necessarily the most fair word. I'm going to use it anyway. Does golf need Rory and Scotty both in contention on Sunday, coming up in the final round of this tournament?
Yeah, I love this conversation. I really do, because if you look at history, if you look at the best players of generations, very rarely did they have that interlude. And you can go all the way back as far as you want to. If you go back to someone like Walter Hagen and Bobby Jones, Hagen was a pro, Jones was an amateur. They didn't have moments. And Hogan only had a couple. Arnold and Jack together only had a couple. Phil and Tiger only truly, whether it was PGA Tour events or major championships, only had a couple. I'll tell you what, I would use the word, it could use it. Need it? No, because we'll move on to Shinnecock, and there will be another opportunity for them to possibly, have that moment. I love the idea of the application of the word need, but the game has never needed it, but there are times it could use it. And I would sprinkle in a little Rahm and DeChambeau, because there's friction and there's something provocative about the guys who made the departure, who are kind of looked at, as wearing black hats right now. Scheffler and Rory together this weekend in this great sports town it'd be lathered up. But they don't need it, but the game could use it.
They are wearing black hats, but those are some expensive black hats. Really nice black. Maybe not Peter Millar nice, but they are nice black hats. So at BetMGM right now, Gary, I'm just going to give the odds board here, right? Scheffler the favorite, plus 450. Rory plus 850. Cam Young, who's obviously in tremendous form, at 12. Rahm at 16. Xander 18. Bryson 20. Oberg 20. Fitzpatrick 22. Fleetwood 22. Who is Gary Williams picked to win the PGA Championship, and why?
Well, again, this is short money. I'm playing Scheffler. And I've learned this from people who know it, and obviously you're in this space and you know it. I think Scheffler is a live play, whether it's him, starting the second round 5-back, or maybe you wait until the weekend and then you see some value because he can close. But I'm going to pick him to win. But you mentioned some names of value to me. Ludwig Oberg, to me, is right there. And I understand that if you go back to the players, he didn't handle that final round well. He was a 54-hole leader, and he came unglued. At some point, somebody this talented is going to break through the vortex. And in 5 of his last 6 starts, he's been in the top 8. Shot 66 Sunday in Charlotte at Quail Hollow on greens that were really, really fast. I think this place will agree with him. His putter has not been good. Everything else has been. I think that it's just a matter of time for him. And then Cam Young, I get it. I understand that. The other guy, I will tell you, and it's not just based on last week, who I think has value, whether it's top 5, definitely feel confident about top 10, is Ricky Fowler. If you look at Ricky Fowler's stats, and I'm talking about through the bag for the last year, he's right there with Bryson stats. Now, that doesn't include winning, and it doesn't include him really being in the deep end of the pool in majors late like Bryson is habitually doing. I think Fowler he's a live play this week, and Oberg, like I said, I would not be surprised at all if he wins.
50-1, Ricky Fowler is to win this tournament, to win the PGA Championship. Tyler Morales regrets, he deeply regrets how piss poor and pathetic he was leading up to Augusta National. Also, this needs to be said. The first time he's on camera right now, he's off camera. It's not a good haircut for Tyler. His hair had been looking good. It's a terrible haircut, so he looks terrible also. He's been giving me loser after loser in Golf Survivor. Like, I suck. Everyone looking down on me because of this. Tyler, you have an opportunity to change the narrative. What would you like to say here to Gary Williams about the PGA Championship?
Now, Nick, you said that golf might need Scottie Scheffler, Rory McIlroy to battle out in this to make an interesting tournament. But this is what's going to happen here. We're going to have a Thomas Dietrich, Ricky Fowler duel at the end of this tournament in the greatest moment in Philadelphia since the declaration was signed, and Ricky Fowler is going to win the PGA Championship in Aronimink this weekend.
So he's with you here, Gary. You guys agree on Ricky Fowler?
I for the first time now, he's halfway there. But the invocation of Thomas Dietrich, who when he gets anywhere close to the deep end of the pool where you can't feel your feet underneath you, he retreats to the kiddie pool immediately. And I love Thomas personally. I don't think he's built for this type of environment. It doesn't mean that Tyler's not right, that he can be set up on the weekend. I don't see him doing anything other than fading late. But I agree with Tyler. Fowler is poised. If you look at the way he's played this year, and to his credit, look, Ricky Fowler doesn't have to pull up his bootstraps anymore and do all the work. He's a made guy. I like him this week a lot. This golf course is not appreciably long. He's not a guy who is appreciably long, but even last week on a golf course that was a couple hundred yards longer than Aronimink is, and that's Quail Hollow Club, he was right there. I like Fowler a lot. I'm not feeling Dietrich. I can see him having a good couple of days, but not late in this championship.
So I think we have our next bet, Gary, if you are so inclined, and it revolves around the Belgian bomber, Thomas Dietrich. So what do we want to say here, Gary? What is, like, Tyler saying in top 2 for Dietrich? What are you willing to... Well, he said it's going to be Dietrich versus Fowler at the end.
I will ship him this suede vest and this 4-ply cashmere crew neck that I'm wearing underneath it from Peter Millar. Hopefully he wears a medium. He looks like he's a very svelte guy. If Thomas Dietrich finishes in the top 2, I will send.
How about top 5? Can we go top 5?
Top 5, same thing.
What about top 10?
Yeah, that's a hell of an accomplishment for him.
Top 10 or no? You want to go top 5?
And now look at this. Look at this full retreat. He went from battling Fowler to the end to a backdoor top 10 trying to get some great gear.
Top 5. Final question. How would you rank? I don't want to look at Tyler anymore. Can you get him off the screen, please? Thank you. What are Gary Williams' most pleasurable and luxurious fabrics to wear if you had to rank your top 3?
Well, I think I've just said them. We're at the back end of the cashmere season as we make the transition into spring and summer. There is nothing that is more pleasing than the combination of a satin wash shirt with a hint of linen in it. If you can do that and maybe add about 10% of silk, you might as well sleep in it.
That's like the updated Costanza. That was fantastic. Dude, you're the best. Gary Williams. Golf Channel, Series X, and PGA Tour Radio. I was going to ask you if Mike Vrabel's going to be the coach of the Patriots in Week 1, but we can end the interview here.
Most certainly. Please, people, let's get beyond. What do we do in May? We make hysterical proclamations about things, and then all of a sudden we get to training camp, and all we're doing is focusing on the two deep and who's going to make the special teams.
There's a joke there, man.
Undrafted rookie. He will be on the sidelines Week 1. Please, look who his owner is.
Yeah, we're focusing. We're focusing on the two deep. Enjoy enjoy the tournament this weekend.
Thank you, my friend.
I love what a guy. That vest. This is like we need to roll out like the Mr. Burns song from Simpsons. See my vest. Spectacular. He's the best. All right. Love Gary Williams. Jason Sobel will join us tomorrow on the show to preview the PGA Championship. On the other side, Carolina Panthers general manager Dan Morgan here on Westwood One Sports.
tight end, is tight to the left. In a power formation. Play fake. Intercepted by Morgan. He could go all the way. He's got off by Morgan. There's Cheney who knocks him out of bounds.
Now, back to You Better You Bet with Nick Kostos on Westwood One Sports.
Today's Defensive Player of the Week here on You Better You Bet is sponsored by Navy Federal Credit Union, proudly serving all branches of the armed services, veterans, and their families. Learn more at NavyFederal.org. Our members are the mission, NavyFederal.org. The Defensive Player of the Week has to be our guy, Dan Morgan. Picking off Chris Wenke once upon a time in a Miami-Florida State game. Ken Dorsey, game-winning touchdown pass to my guy, former New York Giant Jeremy Shockey with 46 seconds to go. Dan Morgan, our Defensive Player of the Week. And Dan Morgan is now the general manager of the Carolina Panthers, and he joins us here on You Better You Bet on a Tuesday on Westwood One Sports with Nick Kostos. Dan, sincerely appreciate the time. Thanks for joining us, and I said this to you off air. Man, your tan is unbelievable. You are looking good, my friend.
Yeah, it's either the tan or blood pressure, one or the other.
So I'll tell you what, but it's good right now.
That interception was probably the hottest game I've ever played in. I was dying on that. After I intercepted it, I had to get like 3 IV bags at halftime.
Do you remember the interception? You remember how the game ended?
Oh, yeah, I do.
Oh, it's awesome.
That was a fun game. That was the first time we beat FSU in, 4 or 5 years. So, yeah, that was a fun day.
That's one of those rivalries that like you wish could really rise back to prominence in college. Because when I was a kid, it's all wide right and wide left and the field goals and Bobby Bowden and company. It was really special at that time. So I said this to you off air, and Dan, but first off, like, congratulations on an awesome offseason thus far and making the playoffs and winning the NFC South last year, and we'll get to all of that. Now, I think longtime listeners and viewers of this show will know that a guy who works in your front office, Eric Eager, used to come on this show all the time, and I reached out to him last night and said that we were going to be talking to you today, and he told me, ask Dan about the number of players he scouts and the process leading into the draft and all the mock drafts that you do. I thought this was so fascinating because, like, for people that love the NFL like me, and I'm guessing my audience loves it the way that I do, just like a peek behind the curtain, however much you want to offer, as little or as much, I think everyone will really groove on this. Your process as the GM leading into a draft.
Oh, man. So, the process actually starts during the summertime. So even when I'm on vacation during the summer, so what I'll do is I'll watch, before my family wakes up in the morning, I'll get my computer out. I'll watch 2 guys a day during the summertime. And then that goes into the season to where I'm watching multiple guys during the day in my office at my desk. And then in terms of like mock drafts, I mean, I can't tell you how many I did, whether it's like here at the office or at home on the couch with my son. Like, we're always doing mock drafts and just kind of like putting yourself in like every little scenario that you can before the draft. That way, during the draft, you're like, hey, I've been in this position before. Like, I know what player I'm going to take over another player. So, like, always just kind of putting myself in different scenarios and going through different mocks and models and just trying to figure it out. So it definitely helps out, though, on draft day.
This is a very important follow-up question. When you do the mock drafts, whether solo or with someone on the team or your son, do you do trades in the mock draft, or is this just straight through team? So you mock the trades also. I love that.
Yeah, you do the trades too. So Eric created like a little trade model that you do too. So, obviously, like I can accept any trade. So sometimes it's not that fair, but I try to be as realistic as possible in terms of like, I'm going to trade back or I'm going to trade up. But again, it just gets you thinking. It gets your juices flowing and just kind of, gives you ideas.
I want to set the stage for some of the questions I'm going to ask you moving forward with this one. Now, I know you're not going to find this question to be crazy. I feel like some of the listeners and viewers, they might, right? I actually think you guys are pretty close. And the reason why I say that, and I'm consistent saying this on the air, you guys beat the Rams in the regular season last year and came, I think people forget this, it wasn't that long ago. You guys almost beat them on Wild Card Weekend. That actually almost happened, beating Matthew Stafford, Sean McVay, and the Rams. So this is not me asking you to guarantee like we're going to win the division. Again, that's not it at all. Just that it feels to me like you guys are closer than a lot of people think you are. How close do you guys actually think you are right now?
Listen, like we're making progress every year is what I can say. Like I think our team's getting better and better. Bryce is in the same system now for 3 years in a row, which obviously helps out, having that continuity between the head coach, the quarterback, and just the team in general, and like creating your culture and, just figuring all the little details out that make a building run the way that it should run. So yeah, we feel like we're headed in the right direction. I always say it every interview, and I truly believe it is why I say it. Like we have to put the work in first and foremost. Like if we don't put the work in and we're not earning it out on the football field, then nothing's really going to matter during the season. So I think as long as we continue to stay hungry, earn everything, and just kind of earn our arrival.
What went into the decision that you guys made to pick up Bryce's 5th-year option with you did at the end of April as he gets sent to enter year 4?
Yeah, I think if you look at Bryce, he's getting better and better every year. And then on top of that, I mean, he's clutch. He has that clutch gene, and I think when his back's against the wall in the biggest moments, I think is when he shines. And, it's hard to find quarterbacks that, do the things he does in those type of situations. So he's getting better as a leader. He's really gaining control of this offense, and he's headed in a really good direction right now that we're excited about.
I want to talk about the offense for a second here, and I want to ask you about your new play caller coming up in a moment, but I kind of, and we'll see what happens on the field, right? I kind of really love what you guys are doing at the receiver position where, obviously, and I say this as a short guy, like Bryce is not the tallest quarterback to ever play the game. You have like a fleet of basketball players at receiver, right? These tall receivers to catch passes from the short quarterback. And Chris Brazzell, who you took in the 3rd rounds of the draft, like absolutely fits that bill as well. I'm guessing that's purposeful, right? With Tetaroa and Jalen Coker and now Brazzell. I kind of really like that. I'd love for you to expand upon your passing game and what you think that could be this year with Bryce Young, Dave Canales, and Brad Edzik calling the plays.
Yeah, I think if you look at our receiving core, we have tall guys, obviously, but, I think it's kind of like putting together like a basketball team, right? So, you have Jimmy Horn, you have Mechie, like we have different body types in there other than just our big wideouts. So, I think, adding playmakers, I think is the biggest thing. And, T-Mac last year, Jalen Coker in undrafted free agency, Xavier Legette, who we still believe in and think that he can make a jump this year, adding Chris Brazzell, who's a deep threat. So we have guys that can do a lot of different things. And again, it's like a basketball team out there. And I know Dave and Brad, they're going to put these guys in the best position to succeed. And I'm excited about seeing where it goes.
Yeah, and speaking of Coach Canales and Brad Edzik, who's going to call the plays this year, I find that so fascinating, right? That Coach Canales is this offensive whiz, right? And he's the play caller for the team. And now he's going to assume, and these are my words, not yours, kind of like more of like a CEO role probably, right? Like not going to call the plays on offense, going to oversee more of the team. On paper, it sounds awesome, and I'm sure you wouldn't want to do it if you didn't think it's going to go well. So I'm sure you think it's going to go well. But I think that's going to be a question a lot of people have coming into the year with Coach Canales giving up the play calling to Brad Edzik, who has been with him for a long time, obviously. I'd love for you to talk about that relationship between those two and how you think that'll go this season for Brad Edzik calling the plays on offense.
Yeah, I think Coach Canales, obviously, like it's not like he's totally going to step away from the offense and not be involved in the game planning. Like he's still going to be involved in that. We brought Darrell Bevel in, who has a ton of experience as well. Brad's a young, talented play caller that we're excited about. He's super smart. He works his butt off. So I'm excited to see where the offense goes, see it evolve, and just kind of open it up and do some different things. And I know those guys are working tirelessly, in the meeting rooms every day. They're meeting every day this summer and continuing, through OTAs and mini camp. So I'm excited about the direction that they're headed, where the offense is headed. Brick by brick, I think we're kind of building this thing, and again, just put the work in and let's see where it goes.
I'm not just saying this, Dan, because you're on the show right now. I would say this if you're not here, I have said it. I think your offensive line this year has the potential to be kick-ass road graders. Now, I don't know if Icky's going to play this year. I think that remains to be seen. But, Monroe Freeling, the interior of the line's been good for a couple years now. The Rasheed Walker signing, Taylor Moton. This offensive line could be a beast this year. I'm guessing you're excited for what that potential could be, the guys in front of Bryce Young and company.
Yeah, you have to win the game up front, and we truly believe that here on both sides of the ball. And, adding Freeling, adding Sam Hecht, Luke Fortner, Rasheed Walker. So I think as much depth as we can build on this offensive line and make it as strong as possible, I think that's really going to set us up for success moving forward. Getting Robert Hunt back healthy, still having Damian Lewis, and then old reliable on the right side, Taylor Moton. He's a consummate pro. So. Yeah, I think this offensive line, has a lot of talent on it, and they're out there working right now. And they definitely look big, and, they're big physical guys that we're excited about.
I'm not going to lie to you. It's the first time we've talked. I'm not going to start our relationship off with a lie. I play a lot of fantasy football, so there is a fantasy football tinge to this question, but it's also an important real-life question as well. Where is Jonathan Brooks at in his recovery from another injury? Because I think a lot of people, whether you play fantasy or not, real life, really excited about him when you guys drafted him a couple years ago. Because you like Rico's not on the team anymore, so I'm guessing you guys have expectations for Jonathan. Where is he at in his rehab right now?
Yeah, I just came in from practice out there, and he looks great. He looks really good. He's moving really well. He's cutting really well. We're really optimistic on where he's headed. Man, he's put so much work in and went through so much, in terms of injuries, and that can take a toll on a young man, in this league. So he's done a great job. He's been a pro. He's so mature. He's such a great guy. So we're excited for him personally, and excited for us as a team to get him back.
You better you bet. Westwood One Sports on this Tuesday. Nick Kostos joined by the general manager of the reigning NFC South champion Carolina Panthers, Dan Morgan, here on Westwood One Sports. Dan, let's talk about your defense. I don't know how anyone could say they don't like the signing of Jalen Phillips, the signing of Devin Lloyd, pass rusher. Lloyd coming off a tremendous year last year in Jacksonville at the linebacker position. What those two guys can bring to your defense here, Jalen Phillips and Devin Lloyd.
Yeah, I mean, those two guys, they're blue players is what we would call them. Two guys that can really impact the game on a down in and down out basis. Obviously, we've seen what Jalen Phillips can do on the edge. He gets after the quarterback. He plays with a super high motor, which we value around here. Same thing with Devin Lloyd. He's just always running to the ball, always around the ball. He can run and he can close. So adding those two guys and, the rookie class that we just bought in and, the guys from last year, Nick Scordon, Princely, those two guys I think are going to just continue to take a leap. And, yeah, I mean, we're excited about our defense and where that's headed. And I think sky's the limit for that side of the ball.
How much positivity is there in your building? Just seeing Coach Canales, seeing our first time talking, but seeing you. I know Eric pretty well. It seems like this is a pretty high energy, smiles, positive, and that's not everything is sunshine and roses, obviously. But it feels like this is a pretty positive room and environment that you guys have got there right now.
Yeah, I think, that's really the culture that we're trying to create around here is, positive mindset, family atmosphere around here is kind of what we want. Obviously, it's not always sunshines and rainbows, if you want to say, but, I think that's part of being a family is, there can be tough conversations. There can be really good conversations. Everybody holds each other accountable to a high standard. And that's what we're doing around here. So, again, I think culture's everything, and it's definitely turning for the good around here.
What are your thoughts on the state of Miami football following a trip to the national championship game this season, obviously coming up just short against Mendoza and Indiana?
I'm excited about it. I think Coach Cristobal, obviously, me and him are really close. He's done a great job. Again, culture, holding guys to a high standard, accountability, all those things that he brings down there, and I think it shows out there on the football field.
Were you thrilled or not thrilled to see Ruben Bain get drafted in your division?
He's a great player. He's a really good player. No matter where he went, I know he's going to be successful, just hopefully not too successful versus us. But he's a heck of a player, really good dude. Definitely wish him the best.
Can I just and I know he plays for Tampa, but like he's a Miami guy. Just me watching the games, like everyone's talking about his arm length. It's like, okay, like I understand to a degree. Also, like if you watch the games, this dude was unbelievable, right? I'm guessing you agree when you're doing your mock. Jason Light even said this. In what planet does this guy fall to 15 in the NFL draft? Like because of his arm length? Yeah. I don't know. I watched the games. The guy was pretty awesome.
Yeah, I think sometimes, you can get a little wrapped up in the measurements or the speed. But, what we go by is what do they look like on tape? What kind of football player are they? What's their mentality when they're out there? How do they play? And, I think when you turn the tape on and you see Ruben Bain and you saw Messidor, like you couldn't deny those two are great players. And, they're going to have a lot of success in the league.
And feel like Messidor is going to play a lot this year for the LA Chargers for Jim Harbaugh and company. Dan, you're awesome. Sincerely appreciate this. Congratulations on the success. Again, reigning NFC South champions and wishing you continued success this season. Really appreciate your time.
Appreciate you guys. Thanks for having me.
Are you kidding? Thank you for coming on. The general manager of the Carolina Panthers, Dan Morgan, joining us here on You Better You Bet. I loved so many of his answers. I really loved him talking about the receiving core. And like the different body types they have now, like I'm not going to push back against him while he's on the air. Just like, how much is Jimmy Horn going to play this year? Just my opinion. Maybe he plays a lot this year. But I love with Tet and Coker and Brazel, like the tall receivers that they have on this team. I think it makes a lot of sense. And the other thing that I would say about their offense, and it's more of a longer form conversation than something just to ask a question to the GM and give us, a 30-second, 60-second answer. I think what they're doing offensively is so interesting from this perspective. Think about what we talked about on the show yesterday as it concerns the tight end position. 9 tight ends going in the first 3 rounds of the draft. The Rams coming off kind of, 12 and 13 personnel, and that seems to be where offenses are headed. The Panthers haven't added a tight end this, and I don't mean that as a criticism, right? There are different ways to skin a cat, right? Jatavian Sanders, Mitchell Evans, who was, I believe, their 5th-round pick last year. Tommy Tremble's still there. Dave Canales historically does not use the tight end a ton in his offense. So it feels like where so much of the NFL is zigging, the Carolina Panthers are zagging in this regard, where, Bryce Young doesn't turn his back to the offense that often. They're not running play action a ton. A lot of it's in the spread, with Bryce Young surveying the field before taking the snap. And I think that's so interesting when you put it in contrast with what so many other teams in the NFL are doing. And that's not a commentary on it either working or not working. I just think it's interesting that that's what they're choosing to do with this specific quarterback in this specific offense. Billy Z, our executive producer, great job booking Dan Morgan on the show. And look, I'll say this, we have to take a break soon here, but it's a big deal for us to be able to break through and start getting NFL decision makers on the show. So, Bill, a tip of the cap to you. Great job, my friend. What is the trivia question today?
All right, Nick, let's jump right in, and thank you for those kind words. But we've got a LeBron James themed trivia question because LeBron James, we don't know what his future holds. So it's a bit of a mouthful, Nick. So listen up here. We have a threshold, 25,000 career points, 10,000 career rebounds, 5,000 career assists, 1,500 steals, 1,000 blocks. LeBron, obviously, one of 3 guys in NBA history to hit all those thresholds. Who are the other 2?
We'll attempt to answer this question on the other side, and we'll give you our bets to close the show after I went undefeated yesterday. No big deal. Here on Westwood One Sports.
Now, back to You Better You Bet with Nick Kostos on Westwood One Sports.
Heading into a huge summer of soccer, BetMGM, the best place to bet on the world's game in the English Premier League. Sometimes it's best to call the match before the final whistle. With BetMGM, if your team jumps out to a 2-goal lead, you can win your wager instantly. No waiting, no late game drama. This offer available for all EPL matches. Download the BetMGM app today. So Bill Zimmerman asked us a very complicated trivia question. Basically, besides for LeBron, 25,000 points, 10,000 rebounds, 5,000 assists, like 1,000 steals, 1,000 blocks, something like that. LeBron is one of 1,500 steals. I'm going to get the question wrong. Tyler and Dan Turner have been attempting to answer the question during the break. So, guys, type in the guys that you want me to guess here. I was going to guess Michael was going to be one of mine. Maybe I would go with Michael and Kareem. Those would be mine. Tyler says Kevin Garnett. Dan says Karl Malone. Grant says Hakeem Olajuwon and Tim Duncan. Is it two of those guys, Bill?
It is two of those four guys. So, Nick, if you narrow it down from those four, who are your two guesses?
Wait, which four? None of my four?
None of your four. Jordan didn't have the blocks. Or, I'm sorry, Jordan didn't have the rebounds.
So it's two of Garnett, Malone, Olajuwon, and Duncan.
Correct.
It has to be Garnett and Malone.
It is Garnett and Malone.
Wow.
Duncan did not have the steals, and Olajuwon did not have the assists.
That's a great job. I don't get credit for that. That's Tyler and Dan. Great job by the crew with the trivia question. Thanks to Bill, thanks to Tyler, thanks to Dan, thanks to Mike, thanks to Grant in for Kenny, thanks to Dan Morgan, thanks to Justine Termine, and thanks to Gary Williams, our guest today. Let's get to the bets. I managed the clock poorly, but we'll get to the bets right now. All right. I went undefeated yesterday. We're going to attempt to keep the good times rolling today. Look, I'm betting the Wolves. 10.5. Fine. I'll take it. Give me Minnesota plus the points. With Anthony Edwards looking as good as he did in Game 4, I know Wemby's playing. I don't care. I'll take the Minnesota Timberwolves at a huge number. How about a two-team hockey moneyline parlay? Let's take the Montreal Canadiens to go up 3-1 on the Buffalo Sabres with the Las Vegas Golden Knights to go up 3-2 on the Anaheim Ducks. That Knights Canadiens two-team money line parlay pays plus 182 at BetMGM. And one baseball play, the Cincinnati Reds had lost 8 straight games to fall into last place in the NL Central. They're still above 500. They're still 3 games over. They've won a couple games in a row, and I'd like to ride this hot streak. Give me the Reds today. Cincinnati minus 140. So the Reds minus 140. Wolves plus 10.5. against the Spurs, a two-team money line parlay with the Canadiens and the Golden Knights, plus 182. That pays at BetMGM, and a partridge in a pear tree. And I like the Bills against the Lions in Week 2. Please don't bet that right now. I'm not going to. We'll see you tomorrow on a Wednesday. Until then, I'm Nick Kostos wishing you minimal sweats, winning bets, the absolute very best of luck. Our pals, Bleck and Abdallah, coming up next. Westwood One Sports.